Good evening and welcome to Two Halves, Two Innings. Now we've had a little bit of a split. Don't worry, we haven't fallen out. It's just we've got Two Halves, Two Innings football and Two Halves, Two Innings cricket, just so it's easy for you to follow us. So please do follow us on our new YouTube channels. The social media channels for the time being are still going to stay the same. We just haven't got enough time, if I'm honest. Anyway, let's get cracking. So some exciting football matches have been going on this week. OJ, you going first. The biggest game of the week, Rotherham versus Bradford City. How's it going?
Well, they're playing right now, and I think currently it's 2-1 to Rotherham. But you know what, the Bantams, they've got 20 odd minutes or so, so I'm hoping for an equaliser, or hopefully even get the 3 points at Rotherham, because Bradford City have had a fantastic start to League One, and hopefully it continues and we can get into the Championship. So come on, you Bantams, you've got 20 odd minutes or so. Let's get that winning. Let's get 2 goals. Come on. So they're doing all
So
right so far.
that Manchester United top that you were sporting at the last episode, have you exchanged that for a Bantams jersey, or
No, no,
where's this sudden love for Bradford City come from?
Listen, you got to make yourself happy during the weekend. If you support your local home team, and if they're winning games, you know what? A bit of a dopamine kick is always handy, isn't it? Every week, can't be having that
Well,
depressing. Watching Man United
it,
week in week out, don't know what team's going to turn up and going to get a loss or a win or a draw. At least with Bradford, they seem to be doing well, so why not show them a little bit of love this season?
well, you've jinxed them so far. They're losing 2-1, so don't get too excited.
I'm actually working in Rotherham tomorrow, so my manager who's going to be there, he's going to be well chuffed that they're winning so far. So come on, Bradford, you got to get the goals. Come on, lads.
All right, go on then.
Oh, we'll see.
Come on then. Let's go to the Champions League A, which obviously we're not part of, OJ. But we'll talk about Liverpool first. I think that's the bigger story this week so far. So Dheeraj, we look forward to welcome you back soon. Let us know when you're coming in.
I think we've been every episode we've been saying this, right? I don't know when he's back.
So. Listen,
I think he sent his paternity leave request in the pigeon post. We're still waiting for the pigeons to deliver.
Since Dheeraj has not been on the podcast and Liverpool's form's dropped a little bit, so I don't really know.
Oh, actually, stay off. Dheeraj, have 9 months off. You deserve it.
Yeah, full 9 months off.
Bro, take the whole season off. Don't worry. Yeah.
That's it. Yes.
All three of us have granted you your wish. You go for it, son. So I was surprised. That's 2 games now in a row that Liverpool have lost. Only the second time it's happened in Slot's short era. Ajay, did you watch the game?
Yeah, I did catch. I think the second half. So I didn't really catch much of the first half, but I was watching the highlights, and I mean, they didn't really play well against Palace, and I think they were lucky to get the equaliser there. But then obviously Palace did end up going on to win the match in late, kind of in the last few minutes. So that was kind of a bit of justice served and a bit of a, kind of taste of your medicine for Slot, kind of scoring these last minute goals. And just going on to the Champions League, I thought, Galatasaray, they played really well. The fans were behind them. The stadium sounded really loud. And I know a few Liverpool fans were saying, "Oh yeah, Galatasaray it's a hard place to go to." There was mud on the pitch. It was loud, and the fans were whistling at all the players. I mean, but like this is the Champions League. This is what these European teams want to play. The biggest clubs. When it's either Man United or Barcelona, PSG, Liverpool, they're going to make it hard for these teams to come. But I just thought Galatasaray just played really well, and they just put a lot of pressure on Liverpool's defence. It wasn't a great game for like Konate. It wasn't a great game for Gravenberch. And again, I know we like to kind of go on them quite a bit on the podcast, but again, another quiet game for Wirtz. Didn't really do much, but actually he had a pretty good game overall, but no impact in terms of goals or assists. And I think Liverpool just looked shaky at the back, and the front, why was Salah on the bench? Why was Isak on the bench? I think these were, decisions by Slot, which he may have thought, I want to rest players for Chelsea, and maybe he thought a bit, overconfident that he could go to Galatasaray and pick up an easy win. But you know what, they turned up well, and they proved him wrong. So he had to make those substitutions in the second half and bring Isak on and Salah. But again, they didn't really, pose too much of a threat. There were some good chances, obviously, done by Liverpool and Etikite. But I think overall, watching it, and I think a lot of Liverpool fans could see that there's just a bit of a disjoint in the midfield and the front three. I think they are missing like Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, their energy in the press. I think Salah is not that press machine anymore. And, I think the most advanced player that we're playing in the second half was Conor Bradley, and he looked quite threatening, to be fair, but that's your centre back, right back. And, why is Szoboszlai playing at right back? And you've got Frimpong at right wing back. I don't know. I think Slot was trying a few different things. It just didn't really work out, to be honest. And that's just, not what you want after losing at Palace. You don't want to go into a Champions League game losing now. So now they've got Chelsea over the weekend. 3 were losses. That's going to be very difficult if they keep playing like this.
I don't know, Ajay. I don't know. I think when I was watching the first half, I think they could have scored 3 goals, Liverpool. Probably I was watching a different game, because if you see because the first half they were actually good. I think if that penalty was given against Arsenal, I know I'm an Arsenal fan, but that penalty was a joke for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew guess
No,
that.
he just hit the... No, it was a joke. If it was given against my team, I'll be probably livid, very livid. It's just a joke. Guys, that wasn't a penalty in my eyes. That was just a ridiculous penalty.
Go on, be livid for the Reg.
Yeah.
Go on, let's see you be
no,
livid.
I'm just saying, I'm saying it as a fan rather than obviously Arsenal fan. I'm happy that Liverpool lost. As much dent we can put on their confidence, that'll be good. But as a fan, as a football fan, it was a ridiculous decision, to be honest, in my eyes. But I think they could have scored the goal, and within seconds they had a penalty given.
Exactly. Yeah. I think Galatasaray made a lot of chances. I mean, to be fair, they could have been 2-3.
I think both teams did.
Osimhen was on, a couple of one-on-one chances with Alisson. Alisson bailed them out, so it could have swung either way. But again, I just don't think it was a confident or conviction shown by Liverpool again.
Yeah, it wasn't like a controlled game Slot would have liked, right? It was very open, very end-to-end. It wasn't like a proper Champions League controlled game,
But haven't most of Liverpool games so far this year been a bit like that? They've been a bit basketball-esque, like kind of end-to-end. I mean, to be fair, dealers did call this at the start of the season, or even before we started, in our preview of the season, that he said that if you want to watch entertaining football, Liverpool are going to be the team to watch, and he's not been wrong so far. Again, there seemed to be a lot of mistakes in the game, and they seemed disjointed. They didn't like they were going to get back into the game. Konate, he's poor, so Slot's got the decisions to make there, as you said, Ajay, ahead of the game, and I will come to that moment. The midfield balance doesn't seem to be there. Again, Wirtz has not kind of created any chances or opportunities. McAllister, as an amazing player that he is, he hasn't played 90 minutes yet, so there's seems to be issues there with his fitness potentially. Isak came on, I think for 30 minutes, and he had about 4 touches of the ball. And again, you can't blame him. He needs to have the crosses or the chances kind of created.
But he could have scored. There was a great chance he got. I mean, he got a great chance. I think he could have scored. He was brilliant in that moment, that particular moment when he came on. He could have scored. Yeah.
I suppose more worrying for Liverpool though is more worrying for Liverpool is probably the injuries, because Becker's out. Now I know he was out for 10 games last season as well, and they still managed to win the Premier League, but he's out. And I know they spent money on Madashvili, I think is his goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Liverpool's goalkeeper. Like that, but he'll potentially be making his debut against Chelsea. But also there's a potential question mark over Etikite's fitness as well, because they wasn't sure before recording whether it was actually something serious or whether it was cramp. But he's been called up to the French squad, recalled back to the French squad, so I'm sure they wouldn't have called him up if it was something serious. So Liverpool seem disjointed, and maybe the last minute goals were papering over the cracks, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think when it comes to even the summer transfer window, we're always going to put Liverpool on a high pedestal because they spent so much money, and they spent big money on players. So we're always going to, kind of criticize obviously Wirtz and Isak. Obviously, like you said, Isak maybe take a little bit more time because he hasn't had a full pre-season. But I think they missed a trick with not getting Matt Gay. I think the defense was probably somewhere that they maybe needed to have ensured and kind of sewn up a lot better. But then again, the wing-backs signings, I don't think I've been really impressed with Kerkez on the left wing, on the left back position. I think he's also not given that stability in the back four, and then also with Frimpong as well. So it kind of leaves Konate and Virgil kind of exposed at times if they're pushing up too high. And I think that was kind of a
Frimpong's been
critique
injured
that's
though,
been
hasn't
made.
he?
No, he played.
Sorry?
Yeah, he played. Yeah,
He played.
No,
Yeah,
but I mean,
he
didn't he have an injury for the first game or something? He's not kind of been in the team.
yeah. I think
no,
he's been. He
it
just
was at
came
the
back.
first game, and then I think he
Yeah.
missed 1 or 2 games.
Been on the bench.
But
Yeah.
I think again, but this is the thing. It's like I think they're really missing Trent in the sense of
Hmm.
just his creativeness. I think he was the one. If you were to kind of play these long ball passes, Trent was the best kind of at picking out, your forwards. So they haven't really got that in Frimpong. And obviously, Kanate can't really play those type of diagonals. And then with Wirtz, he's not really adjusted to the quickness and the pace and the physicality of the Premier League. So I think that's why you're kind of seeing these sluggish performances where they're not really doing well in transition play. And they seem to just kind of hoof the ball, make sure Salah can get a good touch on it, and then let him try to get a crossing or an overlap with the right wing back. But yeah, I'm not seeing kind of that great football that we used to be seeing from Liverpool. When they had Mane, Salah, and I think I can't remember his name over the nice guy with the nice teeth.
Yeah. Firmino.
Yeah.
With the beautiful teeth.
The beautiful teeth, the Colgate advert striker. But yeah, and even like with Darwin, and even at times with Luis Diaz, so they've always had that energy up front, but I just don't feel like they've got it at the moment. But you know what? Let's see what happens.
It's still early days, guys.
Still early days.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. Diraj is not on this podcast, so we don't have to massage his ego. It's bloody brilliant. Come on, keep losing Liverpool. We are loving it. Come on.
I'm loving it. Highlight.
I'm loving it as well. So it's the full house on.
That's what I'm saying. The three of us, we're happy. we don't have to be nice because not that we would not be nice, but you know what I mean. We don't have to be massage Diraj's ego, but.
Yeah, but if you have to critique, right, I'm just want to finish on the Liverpool. I think it's still because they bought new players, they're still gelling. I think we can't read too much into it. I know Carragher said they're not performing as a top team. I think he probably meant for a defense side, right? They're like controlling the game. They're not controlling the games. It's all over the place at the moment. Yeah. But again, benefit of the doubt, new players, they're still gelling in. Hope they don't, but. I think we shouldn't read too much. We will find out probably end of December or something, then see how far they have reached, right? So it's still early days for me. I can't deny that they're still top team. They'll be challenging for the title and for Champions League and all the cups. So we have to keep our...
Listen.
Yeah.
They've not been playing well. We said that all along.
They're still winning,
But they're still winning and they're still top of the league. So that's the sign of for me, unfortunately, a very good team. So whether it's luck or whatever, but you can't get lucky as many times as they've got lucky. It's just that mentality. So it's fine. It's a long season, but anyway, let's enjoy them losing. That's all I'm going to say. Come on, then. We spent far too much time talking about Liverpool, and Diraj's not even on here. So Arsenal, another home win, 2-0 against Olympiacos. Clean sheet. And are you happy? And they were resting some players as well, so it must be you must be very happy.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. But actually, the clean sheet was definitely up to Raya. He made a world-class, amazing save, to be honest. I think I was hoping for 3-4-0, but Olympiacos were in the game till the end. It was a very nervy game. And obviously the players who came in, like White, I love Ben White. I think he just came back from injury, so he needed some minutes. So this is what I'm thinking. We were so lucky, touch wood, that we're giving players minutes and proper games, not like a Carling Cup or a friendly games, like a proper games. We're giving them minutes. So that's a good thing this year about Arsenal. And you can see second half, he was off because obviously, he's no proper match fit. So, we brought Timber back and then that studied the shape. But I was quite surprised how well Olympiacos played, to be honest. They had really, really good chances. And if it wasn't for Raya and a couple of headers by our defenders, it could have been 3-1 or 2-1. And we had chances as well to score. So we were not really good in the final third. Obviously, Gyökeres was very, very good. He was very, very strong. The first goal was all because of him. And he had 2-3 chances as well. He's for assist, so he could have Martinelli could have scored. But and I want to give special praise to Odegaard. I think last night, he looked back in form. He wasn't performing well since end of last season and early this season. Then he got injured. Then he got injured again. I think yesterday he was superb. the transition play, the how he crossed the ball, how he passed, top class. I think I'm happy with 2-0 win, and I think it's the first time Arsenal won the record of like 6 group league games or something on the trot, in Champions League, whatever. I think that shows the sign of a good steady team, But I'm very happy with the result. But performance, yeah, I would say we could have done better.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, having you've brought in you've rested. I think was Rice on the bench and
Rice on the
Saka was he on the
bench,
bench?
Saka on the
So
bench, yeah. Easy on the bench.
Some key. I've talked about this before about that spine. A lot of that spine of yours was on the bench, and it's very different this year to kind of historically where you probably wouldn't. Arteta wouldn't have not had the luxury of being able to do so. Sorry. And if he did have to bring people in, I think he mentioned himself in an interview that I heard recently. It might have been after this one that historically, if he was to bring players in, they would have been undergrad. The young
players.
What do they call it? Young team players. I forgot the term, so players who've never had any first team experience either. So you haven't got that now, and you've got really good depth. And I think again we've touched on this before. One thing that's really worked in your Arsenal's favour is that your signings seem to have just clicked. And despite the injuries, and the exciting thing I think for you guys is that, and I think you mentioned this last time, Rohit, in the last podcast, is that when you looked at your opening fixtures, you seem to have had a tough opening fixture when you compare it to Liverpool, and now the next few games for Liverpool seem to be a lot tougher than kind of Arsenal. So it'll be interesting, really, kind of by the next November kind of international break, where kind of both Liverpool and Arsenal are. So I think you've got a lot to be excited, happy about. Unfortunately,
yeah. So far, so good. I hope it continues, because we know, right? Every game is a different challenge nowadays. So now West Ham coming, we will talk about that in a minute. But every game and Champions League is tough as hell as well, right? So you never know who's gonna win this year. So a lot of teams are favorites this year again. So, but yeah, I'm happy with the win.
Do you remember that? Yeah, so talking about kind of hate for Arsenal. So do you remember that I sent a picture from Paddy Power that about his reference like 2 or 3? I can't remember what number 3 was, but the most hated fans in sports. So number 1 was American fans because of the way they were in terms of Ryder Cup, because obviously the way they were heckling the. I mean, it was disgusting actually the way they were doing it, but it was very. It wasn't very good, was it? The way they're heckling the European Ryder Cup team, and number 2 was Arsenal. I mean, that's quite close. I would have put number 1 at Arsenal. Really, I think there's the first slip that Paddy Power had on their marketing campaign, I think.
No, I don't know, man. They all, but it's a good banter. But let's see what happens at the end of the day. It's all about winning trophies. Fans gonna say their say, and everyone free speech. They can say whatever they think. Everyone has their opinion. They might not be Arsenal fans. If you see on Twitter, they just disguised United fans trying to push some agenda against Arsenal. You never know, guys.
No. So we're quite clear.
Imagine the United fans who growing his hair.
Listen, we would never push any agenda, but like I said previously, Rohit, you spent $1 billion. Arteta spent $1 billion. If you don't win anything this season, you better pack his bags and go back to Madrid or Spain, because there's no way that he should be the manager of Arsenal after the much money that he's had and the investment that he's had. So if you don't win anything this season, and I know Arsenal fans are going to be now going on the bandwagon of we're going to win the Premier League or we're going to win the Champions League.
It's too early. It's too early to say that. It's too early to say that. Yeah. They all talk about Arsenal and then how good they are. They're going to win something. I say, guys, it's still early, very early. Let the team gel. There's still new players. But you said about £1 billion spent. We never spent that much before, right? If you see the last 10 years, who spent the most? You can see the list. Yeah, exactly.
The Man City probably spent as well.
City, Chelsea, Man U probably.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, what I will say with Arsenal, and what I will say is, I was listening to Rio Ferdinand talking about it as well. Going to St James's Park and getting that win at the end is a massive mental boost.
It was massive.
Exactly. In that dressing room now,
I
can imagine obviously the likes of Gabriel, Saliba, kind of forming that great partnership now with the midfield and Odegaard and Saka and everyone. So that mentality shift now is going to be something that might propel a title charge for Arsenal now going forward. Now, like you've said, they've had City, they've had Liverpool, they've had United, now they've had Newcastle. the next few games, especially home games, are going to hopefully beat West Ham quite easily and other kind of mid-table teams. I think this is going to be really good for Arteta now to kind of really push on put the gas on the accelerator. But it's just going to come down to these big games when it comes to knockout phases of Champions League, maybe semi-finals of FA Cups or Carabao Cups. Can he manage the workload? And basically, most importantly, can your players stay fit? If Saka's out for 2-3 months, Odegaard's out for a month, if Gyökeres gets an injury, then there's no way that you're going to be able to.
This is exactly what I say, guys. You need luck, right? You need luck. Last year we had, like I said earlier, I'm gonna repeat it again. We had really bad decisions against us, referee decisions. That's the luck we need this year. For any team to win a trophy, to a league, you need a little bit of luck to say to go some decisions with you, not against you, right? For you, not against you. So I always believe if the luck is there, if Arteta's stars are aligned, all the team stars are aligned, maybe we can do some astrology, Amit. We can see who can
if
win the league.
Knows, the time of birth of our death.
I don't know. We can find.
Please send it to Amit. We'll put an astrology map out for him.
Yeah.
I mean, but the reason why I said I disagree is that I think if I was a first team player now for Arsenal, and if you consider how many injuries you have, because you've not had much luck in the injury front actually, but what's been kind of what would excite me as an Arsenal fan, an Arsenal player, is that despite the injuries, and you've lost big players, you lost Saka, you said Odegaard's had a couple of injuries as well.
Yeah.
Whoever's come in, and Jesus is still not back, is he? I mean, I know obviously we not even mentioned him, and he was for Man City, he was brilliant. Whoever's come in, they've stepped up, so it's been like a seamless, and that's the one thing that I'll say has been the biggest difference I'll say between Liverpool and Arsenal this year, is that despite the number of signings you've made, your team has clicked, while Liverpool signings haven't clicked as a team yet, and I'm sure it will come, but that's the biggest difference, I think. And I think that's really exciting if I was an Arsenal fan.
Yes, and I can see where it's coming from, right? Why this is happening, because they have a strategy, and with the structure, because they are very clear about the strategy, how they're gonna play, how they're gonna go about it. The players they bought is because of the strategy. This is how So this is how you have a coherence in the organization with the strategy, huh?
Set pieces, corners.
That's what it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter
keep
what.
Falling over near the corner flag. That's it.
That's it. Like I don't care. Like we won the game against Newcastle by a corner. Who cares, right?
I'm playing you, bro.
No. I'm just saying.
I know. I don't like it.
I know, but what I'm saying is, guys, you have to have a clear strategy at the top. With the strategy, you then structure your team, your organization to say what kind of players you need, and then I think Arsenal bought very, very well this window. They didn't buy any. They go in the market. Okay, I buy this player A, player B, player C. No. They say what we need, what kind of player we need. This is the player we need, and let's go for that player. And only go for the offer if the player really wants to come in. That's the big difference, right? If the player, he said specifically, if the player is thinking another club, that's it. Don't worry about it. Let's not go for it. If he really wants to come, then we go for the offer. I think it's a good strategy as a looking at the leadership thing. I think it's a good way to go about it. Let's see. We need some luck to win the trophy. Yeah, still very early days. Yeah.
Let's get on to reviewing match day, previewing match day 7. So actually, it's a strange one because all our teams, so Manchester United, Liverpool, and Arsenal, are actually going to be playing on a Saturday for once.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So I think Liverpool. I think are you
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock
Yeah,
kickoff like
3
us?
o'clock,
Yeah, and then I think Liverpool
Chelsea,
is the 5:30 kickoff. I think so. Everyone will be done. We will be done, so we can enjoy our Sundays. So go on then. Ajay, we spent far too much time talking about these other teams that wear red, but there's only one team that sells the back pages, and we know that's MUTV. Come on then, Ajay.
Oh, it's time for them. I should just.
What are you thinking? Go on, put your feet up for 10 minutes. Get your cup of coffee on.
Can I just relax?
That's it. Rohit's going to add a chapter when you're doing the editing, so it just says video starts now, MUTV. 20 odd minutes in, we get to the real stuff, we get to the juicy.
Sunderland home. What do you think?
you know what, after the Brentford game, and I said last time when we were doing the review of that game, we're going, we've got Sunderland coming to Old Trafford now. Obviously, they're a newly promoted side, so you don't want to underestimate them. That's what I'm going to say. And Amorim, if he's going to keep playing this 3-4-3, he's not going to tweak it. Like Hamid, you said, these managers don't really need to do much tactical kind of maneuverability or any kind of manipulation. They're just going to say, what they're going to play. We can just easily, counter attack that, check that. We're going to walk through them, and you know what, this is not looking good for United. I just hope that they've used that loss at Brentford as a bit of a kind of kick up the teeth to say, look, you know what, we need to wake up and we need to put some good performances in. I'm always going to back United. I'm always going to say that they're going to win, especially when it's at home. And again, it's to a newly promoted side. But I have a feeling, some feeling in my stomach that's just going to say that Sunderland are going to beat us really badly. And I just don't know. I actually, if you were to ask me, Jim, what's the prediction you want to say for Man United and Sunderland, I wouldn't have had the Scoobiest, mate. I would honestly say I have no idea now. I honestly don't know. I always want to have confidence in United, but it's just really hard to say. So you know what? I'm going to try and play it simple and play it easy. And I'm actually going to say it'll probably end up being a draw. Okay. And I think Sunderland are going to come out. They're going to come out well. They've really organised well, and the players are really gelling together. Ours are just totally strangers, walking in a park. So let's just see.
But again, that's leadership, the coach buying the right players for the team, or whoever's kind of making the decision. So, I'm with you. I think I think we'll be lucky to get a draw. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. This is how low we've fallen, that I'm hoping that we draw against Sunderland at home. But I'm looking at how Granit Xhaka has played, an ex-Arsenal player. He's really, and he's the captain as well for Sunderland. But he's really added some strength. He's been a powerhouse so far. He's been a big difference. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, I think Sunderland spent the most amount of money actually in this transfer window, didn't they? As in the one that's just gone. So
promoted teams, out of promoted teams.
But they've done well. I think they've got 11 points, so 4 more than Man United. And again, I know that's Man United are no barometer for success nowadays, but they've got points on the board. Newly promoted team. They've made loads of signings as well. Xhaka, ex-Manchester, Arsenal. Was he captain for Arsenal as well? Was he?
He was,
for a period of time.
Ex-Arsenal captain. So he's brought. Obviously, he's been overseas since then. But
he won the Bundesliga.
Still to the midfield. And he was quite honest actually. He thought they were lucky against Nottingham Forest, but again they won. So so it's shocking. I'm worried. I'll be happy with the draw. And the thing is, you said about you hope it's a kick up the back or the teeth or the backside. I would have said, but how many times do you need these kicks up the backside? They've been having these kicks on the backside since Sir Alex Ferguson left. And Amorim, one of Amorim's reasons why he didn't want to join Manchester United mid-season last year was that he felt he wanted a pre-season. Well, he had that, and also now we're not even in the Champions League. We're not in the Carabao Cup now, so he's also got pretty much a week between games, and we're not seeing anything. What are we seeing? Nothing. Now, again, I know Amorim in, Amorim out, blah, blah, blah. But the press are saying today, that the rumours in the press today, that he's got the full support of the Manchester United hierarchy. And the only way he's going to leave is, he's going to be out of Manchester if he actually resigns.
Wow.
Because I think any kind of trust from Man United hierarchy is a very thin thread. That trust is very brittle and can easily change. I mean, they had trust in Jose, they had trust in Ole. They had trust in Erik ten Hag, and look where that ended them. So I don't think we can read much into that. The board knows if the fans are going to get on their back, he's as good as gone. And like I said, if we lose to Sunderland, we lose to Liverpool, then I think
he should go.
November,
I think he should go.
November 1st.
You said that last time, Rohit.
I think he should go.
Commercial business.
Yeah,
remember they just had record profits, 6 million. It wasn't profit. Sorry, it's record of revenue. The devil's number. That's why I remember it. But they've had their record revenue, and they're playing awful. So the commercial. So it depends on what Are they actually doing it because they love the game, or are they seeing it as a business opportunity? Obviously, there will come a point when they're going to hit a brick wall because there's only going to be so much where sponsors want to be associated with a team that's so bad. Reality, but then there's such a global appeal, and joke. We say Man United sells. So, but you don't know what their reasons are for Sir Jim's reasons are. I mean, allegedly, he is a Manchester United fan. We'll see. But anyway, I'm hoping for a
Chelsea
draw.
fan.
Yeah, but I think
he did try to buy Chelsea, didn't he?
That's what I'm saying. He's a Chelsea fan more than a United fan, to be honest. And like I said, what was his reasons for buying United in the first place compared to?
It's just a business, right? It's just a business. That's it. There's no other reason for any businessman to buy something. It's all pure business. But then that's what they are, right? But he's been a successful businessman, so it's not like he's not successful. So he knows what he's doing. But on the playing field,
his football investments.
Yes,
though.
exactly what I'm saying. On the playing field, I think
no,
he should
as
just
in his other football
other
football team investments. There's questions about how they run and how successful or unsuccessful they are. Because in Nice, he's got
Nice,
French,
France, But I think you should if you guys lose against Sunderland and Liverpool, that's it. I think.
Well, we're going to lose against Liverpool. That's standard.
Yeah. But you never know Liverpool, how Liverpool are playing. So,
we're
I've heard today, I don't know if it's true or not, somebody mentioned on Twitter, it's hot off the press, that Oliver Glasner hasn't accepted a new offer from Crystal Palace to extend his contract. So he may be available to come to United. And he's a great manager, to be honest. And the way Crystal Palace are playing.
The thing is, they're playing a 3-4-3, so he's literally playing kind of an Amorim formation. But I would feel that he would have the capabilities and the brains, the uckle, to kind of say these players don't fit that formation.
Yeah,
let me do 4-3-2-1 or 4-3-3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah,
but the thing is, it's these small managers from smaller teams. They don't necessarily replicate that same success when they go to. Same with players, they don't replicate that same level of success when they go to a bigger club. Like you look at your Arsenal, Rohit. So Emery, who's a great success in Spain, and then he kind of, I think he was hard done by the Arsenal fans, but he didn't last very long.
He could have taken them well.
Yeah, but then Amit, he just could not get the culture going. He even though I was expecting more from him as an experienced manager to set the ball rolling, get the team sorted. His buys were not good. Maybe it was the leadership issue as well at that time. But sometimes it's the luck as well. Some players, some managers come in even same we can say about United as well. At that time, Arsenal was similar position, and we weren't playing good. We were playing bad. It's like fans were against everything, so there was no unity anywhere. So he could not create that environment, right? Which he found at Villa. So he could not do that, and there is so Villa don't go into Champions League or win the league, doesn't matter. But Arsenal were expecting him to win the league or win some cups, right? So this is where the pressure sometimes comes in, and he could not handle
That's what I mean.
I was quite surprised, to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think. I mean, because David Moyes, the first manager post for Alex Ferguson, he worked wonders at Everton, and I think that if rumours are led to be believed, so Alex Ferguson actually went to his house. He offered him the role allegedly, to take over from him. And the slogans around Old Trafford when he was announced was the chosen one. That didn't last very long, did it? But that was all the kind of the media spin that David Moyes. So I think that's what I said last time. I think it needs to be someone like a Javi or Zidane, whether they come or not, because then they're used to clubs which have massive, intense pressure. Again, the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. The intense media pressure that they get. I don't know if it's the same or less or more than Manchester United, but it's still intense. So it's difficult. But I said last week that Sir Gareth, but allegedly there's again on the press various media outlets today that he's distanced himself from any potential role. He probably knows that'll be the end of him. He'll end up not only will he lose his job, they'll end up losing his knighthood as well. That's how bad it is at United.
But if you see Glasner, he won the Europa League as well with Frankfurt, right? He's an experienced manager. He is, but the way Crystal Palace plays, I can see him, right? He's a tough. He's. I think he could be the next United manager if you guys say Cameron.
Yeah. The thing is, rather than talking about new managers, all we have to do is just clear out the previous, hierarchies or managers' signings. There are still players within that team that have gone through maybe 3 or 4 managers. I mean, you've had Luke Shaw there, who's probably seen more managers than he's seen.
Everyone.
Injuries. Luke Shaw's probably had more injuries than these managers that have gone by him. And then you've obviously got Maguire. You've got Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno Fernandes, I've said, has been probably one of the best signings since, post Fergie. But there's going to be question marks now that kind of United fans are going to say, like, is it his time, or is he really undroppable? So these are players that have kind of even Diego Dallo. He's a player just kind of floating by the different managers and kind of getting into teams and not really performing well. So unless the mindset changes and also the players, there just needs to be a fresh new squad and young talent that want to play for the badge. Not big money signings like these Casemiro type signings or Anthony type signings. Then only when a manager profit from youth and having a team that they can build for the future. Otherwise, there's no point in putting in any names in a hat if you've still got the old guard of players there who've got more power than the manager themselves.
But that is the process, right? Look, I'm just giving an example of Mikel, right? Without any experience behind him, he came in. He inherited Emery's squad, right? Slowly, if you see today, there are only 2 players, Saka and Martinelli, who were when he started, are still here. And that because those are good players, right? Everyone else has gone. Everyone's moved on. So it takes time to even if you say business sense as well, right? It's not easy to sell players and buy new players. It takes time. But then at least there should be some performances on the pitch as well, right?
Exactly, that's the issue.
If the performances are not there, you can't see future. You can't see the process working or not. There should be something. If you go back to Erik ten Hag, I think you were better under him, at least, right?
100%.
Yeah.
The thing is, it depends on how you're going to manage these players. Because Erik ten Hag's biggest failures were that he brought in an Ajax team into United. So he brought in an Eredivisie team into the Premier League. So Anthony really probably didn't shine as much as he needed to. Lisandro Martinez started off really well in his first season, but then obviously he got injured, so he was very injury prone. And then the likes of Onana, which is probably the worst signing in United history, again, kind of coming with that expectation, even with Inter Milan of, he's a Champions League finalist, but didn't really perform well. And again, it just didn't fit the system. But the thing is with United is that we've just always been kind of making signings on a reaction basis. Look, we got Casemiro for 70 million, like a 31-year-old, 32-year-old. On deadline day, it didn't really make sense. We never really kind of filled in the void that we had with like Pogba, Herrera, Matic, who were really good number 6s, centre defensive midfields. You did Rice. You had Rice for 100 million. Now, a lot of people are going to say that was way too much money for Rice, but he was exactly the type of player that Arsenal needed for an anchor position. Everyone laughed at Chelsea. Oh, they wanted Lavia, but now they got Moises Caicedo and they spent 150 million for him. But he's exactly the number 6 that they need. Same with Liverpool.
Probably
Liverpool
the best number 6 in the world at the moment.
For 60 million, 50 million. But McAllister was exactly the type of number 6 that they needed as well.
It was only 35 million as well, right?
It
was 35, wasn't a lot.
So Rodri was, I don't know how much money Rodri was, but again, the number 6 anchor position that they needed as well to transition players. They're not missing De Bruyne. They've still got Haaland, and they've obviously got Reines in there as well. So this is the thing with United. Who's our number 6? Who's going to be our holding midfield? Ugarte is nowhere near the levels that he should be at under what he was like at PSG. And he's not, really finding he's finding the physicality of the Premier League too much. And Mainu, he's young, he's exceptional, but again, he can't do it all by himself. And then Casemiro hasn't got any legs left. So, like I said, in terms of the managers,
I think
if we get a midfielder, then we can talk about maybe another manager to come in and help out.
The rumours were that that it's for Mainu. It's either Mainu or Fernandes, that he won't play both of them. Fernandes had an awful game last time round. I think he should be dropped and play Mainu. So, I mean, again, to be fair, I mean, I know we've criticised Manchester United a lot and they deserve it, but they did try to go for Baleba, didn't they? And obviously they pulled out because of the price tag. But I think there has been a change in their tactics, though, in terms of their buying strategy. Sorry, not the tactics in 3-4-3. That's never going to change, is it? But the buying strategy's changed. So they have got kind of experience, youngish kind of Cunha and Bermo. They've got Sesko as a young striker, and obviously they bought a couple of young defenders as well. So we'll see. Anyway, let's move on. So Rohit, go on, what's your prediction? Sunderland, Manchester United versus Sunderland.
Draw as well.
Okay, 3. There's a full house on draws. Let's see what happens. Go on then. So Arsenal have got West Ham now. Rohit, again, you're going to be thinking, why me? As in, why Arsenal? Because for the second time already this season, you're going to be facing a team who've got a new manager. So that new manager is Nuno, who'll be taking the dugout for the first time as a West Ham manager. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it will be a tough game. And I saw them play against Everton. I think even the first game, when he became the manager, I think they did pretty well at Everton. And Everton at the moment are informed team, so they are not like easy cool. But they drew the game, and I think that was a very good performance from them. So I'm hoping for an Arsenal win as usual. I think luckily it's at home, not away. But last year and year before, I think we had some slip-ups against West Ham. Last year we lost the game, and then I think 2 years ago we lost the game as well when we were in the title right at the end. So that cost us the league. I think it's going to be a tough game, especially you can see Nuno's teams coming in and then very good defensively, very good structured teams. But I'm hoping with the bench we have and the strength we have and the confidence we have in the team, hopefully we can go and win the game. I think I think it will be Arsenal win.
It's a derby as well.
It's a local derby, I think, and Rice playing against his ex-team.
What's the rivalry between Arsenal and West Ham?
I think it's more West Ham versus Spurs than Arsenal, but Chelsea, it's still or Chelsea, but it's still a local London derby. But yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be a tough game. We have to be playing in a game. You can't just, in this league, you can't just say overconfident and say, oh yeah, it's going to be easy game. There are no easy games. So we have to play very well to win the game.
Lose. Yeah. What's your prediction?
I'm always Arsenal win. Yeah.
All right. Ajay, any thoughts? Not bothered?
Not bothered.
It's getting late. Let's go sleep.
Like Roy said, Arsenal's going to be too strong for West Ham. I don't think West Ham, they're too fragile defensively. And it's only just Jared Bowen, to be fair, that he's the only player for West Ham, to be honest, it looks like.
And Paqueta as well. I think he played good. Yeah.
Susek as well, and you could say with
luckily Kudus is not there. He's a good player.
Yeah, that's Mohamed Kudus was probably a big player for them, and after they missed him a lot. And with the goalkeeper Areola, I don't think he's really had a good start as well. So I think Arsenal you're gonna do them quite easily, I think. No disrespect to West Ham, but they're going to get hammered, literally.
And I'm hoping Mikel plays the same team he played against Newcastle. Give a little bit of rest to Odegaard. He's just coming back from injury, and then replace him, substitute him at the end with Eze. I think hopefully he will start the same team. And I want to give special mention to Timber. Oh my God, that guy is beast. He is just awesome.
I'm worried about how much you love him.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Every time I see him play, I think he's a great right back, and he's really good offensively as well. So hopefully Saliba and Gabriel start. I think hopefully Gabriel is not injured. I think he just came off last night. Hopefully he's not injured, but it's gonna be, like I said, guys. No, if this is what differentiate between good team and great teams. Good team will say it's an easy game. Great team will say, no, we need to win it. We need to be on top of our game and win the game. Doesn't matter who the opposition is, right? We have to be our A game. If we have confidence in ourselves as a team, as a player, say, I can win this game, but I need to play. Work hard for the team. So I'm hoping for that tomorrow on the weekend.
Yeah, I think that's very important, though. Just work hard. I think I was listening to Rio's podcast with Wayne Rooney, and he was talking about kind of where the decline was and what it means to be a Manchester United player. And he just said, you can have, again, it's the talent can, basically the summary was that the talent can get into the room, but you need to have the work ethic.
Exactly.
And that
Exactly.
was kind of Fergie's, and I think Ryan Giggs said exactly the same when he spoke to Rio Ferdinand, that, you know, it's to be a Manchester United player, you got to be able to run, not run like Florian Barg, but runners in terms of the hard. Sorry, I had to get it in again. I just was trying to find that opportunity to get your line in again.
I think you should trademark this, Ajay, now.
Listen.
You've been millionaire. I literally use it all the time.
You know, we laugh with Florian Barg, but if you look at his stats, 009, it looks like an Indian call number. You know what I mean? So he's getting let's see what other digits he adds onto those.
Yes.
But yeah, no. But what I would say is that, you know, what Rohit, you did say about great teams think, you know, quite, have to be quite responsible. But you know, there was one great manager and one great team who just rocked up and always used to say, lads, it's just Tottenham. Don't worry. So you don't worry, Arteta will come that day where he can just say, it's only West Ham, don't worry.
Good.
Go on, give us your prediction
Ajay, what you saying?
Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm with your prediction.
Win for Arsenal.
Yeah, you win. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, win for me as well. So full house for the wins for Arsenal. Go on then, last game of for us in terms of kind of our hosts. So it's Chelsea versus Liverpool. I think that'd quite be an interesting game. That's
It'll
probably the game of the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big one.
Two open teams.
So as we say, Liverpool
are
going to be missing Becker and potentially Takito, so we don't know about that. Although Chelsea, they're struggling to keep players on the pitch. I think in the last 4 games they've had 3 players sent off. So, you know, I can imagine tackles with the historical rivalry between Chelsea and Liverpool. You know, back in the Mourinho Benitez days.
Benitez days, yeah.
Yeah, they were very feisty games. So it'll be interesting if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I think you know what, it's funny because, like you said, I mean, Chelsea rock a blue kit, but they look like they've been seeing red these last 3 games. They've had, you know, disciplinary issues, you know, with 3 red cards in the last 4 games, you know, so it is really going to be a case of can they keep 11 men on the pitch. So that, I think that's going to be a big factor. And you know what, Chelsea have come off of obviously a win in the Champions League, but you know, obviously in the Premier League they had a draw at Brentford, they lost against United. And they also, I think, they lose their last game as well. Who did they play last week? They played
Brighton. No.
Chelsea. Brighton.
Brighton.
Yeah.
They came off a home loss 3-1 to Brighton. Obviously, bar boy Danny Welbeck, you know, scoring a brace there. So this is the thing; they've both had, you know, 2 losses quite recently. So it's just I think it's going to be an important game for both managers, and I think obviously for the Chelsea, for Maresca, he's going to have to say to these lads, like, look, you know what, we need to be within the top 5, top 6 positions. Like, we need to win this game. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game. You know, end to end stuff. Obviously with Liverpool's tactics, with Chelsea's amount of players that they've got on the bench, I could see this going at like a 3-2,
3-2,
somewhere, you know, 3-2, something like it.
It could be a crazy high scoring draw.
Yeah, it could be a high scoring draw.
I'm going for a high scoring draw.
I feel like Liverpool, Chelsea, one of them could either nick it 3-2 either way. It's really hard to call, to be honest. But if I was to say anything, I think I'd say 3-2 Chelsea.
I think Chelsea will have confidence after beating Benfica on Tuesday night. So I think they will be confident. Again, I'm gonna say my heart says draw. My mind says someone's gonna nick it. That'll be Liverpool. But let's see. But I'm gonna go with my heart. I think it'll be a draw. Yeah.
Good. I'm going for a high scoring draw. That's it then. That wraps up kind of match day 7 preview, and then the review of the Champions League. So we'll look forward to seeing how well our predictions go next week. Please, you know, do join us on the Fantasy Football League. I don't know how we're doing. I've not looked because I'm having a better season as Amorim, I think. So I think I'm helping my son. Arin's doing well.
Yeah.
Go on, son.
Yeah, right. You're doing quite well. You've been going up the ranking.
Yeah, going up slowly. Let's see, like Arsenal at the top.
They've just been doing well. They've just finally dropped a few Liverpool players. So that's why he's been going up a few places. Yeah, I think I'm stuck. I don't know. Should I get rid of Salah? Guys, honestly, you know, give us a helping hand. If you're really good at fantasy football, let us know. Is it time to switch Salah for Haaland or have them both in? And how do you do that with the money? Because they're expensive. But yeah, let us know. It would be good to get your thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, then, good night. Thanks for listening, and please drop some comments and subscribe us on our new 2 Hours 2 Innings football podcast channel. And if you're into cricket, then please do listen to cricket. And this episode has been sponsored by Synaptech, who are there to provide excellence in sports vision to help elevate the game. For now, good night.